Welcome to this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors Uncensored. So, today we're going to touch on a real important topic about how we internalize abuse. So, I read something in which the writer wrote, "My spirit had been diminished. I thought all those awful things that the person said about me were true, and I had to rewire my brain." Those were Reese Witherspoon's words in a recent People magazine article. And while her story made headlines, every survivor knows how that feels. Abuse doesn't just bruise us, right? It gets inside our head and it lingers. So the words like replay over and over again, and that doubt just whispers in our ears, and the shame. Oh, the shame, it like takes root in our minds. So tonight, Amanda and I are here to break down that Reese Witherspoon story just briefly, but not too much. What we really want to do is springboard it into talking about something more deeply universal. How survivors internalize abuse, how our voices um, are having to be rewired from the abuser's voice, and how it becomes an ongoing process in our lives.
Important notice: the following content may be triggering. Viewer discretion is advised. All discussions are based on personal opinions and experiences. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to a local support organization. Important notice:
Well, we welcome you back to Through the Eyes of Survivors Uncensored. I have our wonderful Amanda here with me tonight. But before we get into this segment here, we want to thank our affiliates who make the podcast possible. So we're going to take a moment to talk about something that can really empower your journey towards safety and healing. It's called Truth Finder. It's a simple tool that helps you uncover public records and background information about people you may encounter in your life, whether you're reconnecting with someone from your past or you just want to ensure the people around you are trustworthy. Truth Finder provides you with the information you need to make informed decisions. And here at Through the Eyes of Survivors, we definitely want to create that safe place for you, giving you a tool that can help you reclaim your power. And that's why we're so excited about Truth Finder for you. It's a tool that helps you take control of your security and peace of mind. So try it out and support our podcast. And thank you for supporting our mission. Also, Opus Clips for the creators out there and advocates and survivors looking to share their stories online. Opus Clips helps you repurpose long form videos into short, impactful clips for your platforms like TikTok or Instagram. Visit Opus Clips, the link below, and get started. And lastly, the Self Defense Keychain Store. Empower yourself with practical tools for safety. Check out their full collection at the link below and use our code BreakTheSilence10 for 10% off discount. And by supporting these affiliates, you're supporting BTSADV and the work we do with survivors. So um, let's get into here. So Amanda is here with me, as always, at Through the Eyes of Survivors Uncensored. And Amanda, I would love for you to share just a few excerpts from that People magazine article about Reese Witherspoon's experience because I think it's very telling.
Absolutely. So the one thing that she did say and mention, that she was emotionally immature when she got into this relationship, which is a big thing. We don't understand that when we are emotionally immature, we're not able to see red flags as we are once we become emotionally mature. And why I'm saying that's such a big deal, Tara, is I think that gives us grace as survivors to
Yes.
understand. And I know it gave myself grace because I met my abuser when I was 20. My brain wasn't even fully developed. I was still a very young adult that did not leave her parents' house and that was emotionally immature. So that was one of the experts that she said. So she said that when she went into this relationship, she wasn't understanding of what was happening to her because of the emotional maturity. Um, but she said one of the things she said before that was, I was very good at being professional and showing up and doing the right thing, but I wasn't emotionally mature when I was young and didn't get into the right relationships. And she didn't understand that if it didn't work for you, that was okay.
Hmm. Yeah, my relationship that was abusive. I was 19, so I was very young and immature, um, but also it was mostly verbal. It was mostly that verbal, emotional type of abuse, and I had heard so much of it. That's what I was used to
Mhm. Yeah.
within the family growing up. So that part of it didn't bother me. It almost seemed like normal. So, and yeah, that's how it affects young people for sure. Was there anything else in there that you wanted to point
She said that she was just glad that she got out when she did, but she had to learn to rewire her brain um, in order for her to be able to move past what was happening because of the abuse. Um, and actually, someone just commented about it. I'm Deborah, and she said that cognitive behavior therapy has been a paramount in rewiring my brain. 10 years free, still hearing abuse voice, but it's growing fainter and losing its insidious grip on my soul.
right?
And that is 100% what she was kind of saying. But there's different ways that you can rewire. But there's also ways that we internalize that as well.
Right.
Um, and
Because what strikes a chord with me is how familiar her words in that article sound to all of us everywhere, right? Who are survivors all alike. It's, I think, one thing that every one of us in our journey experienced, that we definitely want to focus on that, like your experience out there. So definitely share those with us as we're talking because we want to hear from you on the everyday reality of what it's like to internalize this kind of abuse, right? So let's focus first on that. How does it get internalized, right?
yeah, yeah. So I think the one thing that how it gets is starts with words,
Hmm.
the verbal. That's when you really start to take in what your partner is saying to you and you start believing it.
Hmm. Well, like I was just saying from my experience, even from an early age with parents,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a partner. So if a parent is telling you you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're
Mhm.
not good enough,
Yeah.
then it makes you ripe for an abusive relationship, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because they're just telling you the same thing you already heard from an early childhood, and they're picking up on that, and you're thinking, wow, I must be the
Yeah.
problem.
Right. That must be true. I mean, I can't how many times I've thought that because I'd be like, oh, I heard that before when I was younger. So I guess that is a problem I struggle with. Then you don't see that they're insulting you. You think you're the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
um I don't mean to interrupt our conversation, but Amanda, we don't see you on the screen on Facebook,
Oh
so
no.
you yeah, I want people to see you.
I don't think I can
See
see.
if we can fix that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see myself on the screen now, but no, that's not good if they can't see me.
No, we definitely want everybody to see our lovely Amanda.
Okay. All right.
But as she's fixing that, maybe like the
Oh,
audience.
Judah said she sees me, and I see myself. Yeah, I see myself on Facebook.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't know
And
why.
Jim said he sees me.
Okay,
So
then we're good. I don't know what's wrong with my Facebook feed then. Okay, thank you all for letting us
thank you
know.
guys, because I was a little confused too, because I went over and I was like, wait.
No, I'm literally like
We appreciate.
see,
Oh no, I do see
you're just
it.
an eye there.
I'm
I
just
don't
an eye.
know. I don't know
Okay,
why
thank you,
mine.
Laura. Everybody, thank you for helping me and Tara, because this is why we need you guys sometimes, because
Yeah, because on
this is
mine it is
because
definitely
Tara
not.
showing
I monitor it on the side because a
you.
lot of times we don't get like everything in here.
Everything in. Thank you,
To
Dawn.
see
I
all your
appreciate
wonderful
you.
comments and
Yeah,
everything.
Dawn was like, I see you too, Amanda. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Okay, we're good. No, so let's get back to our topic. Like, we talk about, the words. The
Right.
words really stick.
Right.
And those words just constant criticism too. Uh,
Absolutely.
that was a big factor in mine. Just the
Absolutely.
constant, oh, you're going to make that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like the nitpicking, the stuff that wasn't even important. Like, why do you have to say this? Like, why do you have to? That was it. Like, there wasn't always the huge fights or the yelling. It was just the unnecessary comments. I used to say. I'd always say, "You have these most unnecessary comments," and that would make them so mad. But it was so unnecessary.
Hmm. Yeah, just little things like that that's just constantly can be so damaging.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes just being ignored.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
That silent treatment can be really a control tactic that can be very damaging because
yeah.
they ignore you on some levels and until what you believe you don't matter.
Right. And I feel like it also makes you lose your boundaries because then you start apologizing for things you didn't do. You start and taking on everything that just happened just to get them to talk to you. Like I can't the stuff you'll do just to get them to talk to you.
Hmm.
It's insane. It's like a I almost want to say it's like psychological torture. It's horrible. Um
Yes.
it's horrible. Oh, we're getting some comments in here.
Oh,
Um
yes, wonderful. Let's. You want to? Let's see.
yeah,
I'll
let's see.
start from the bottom.
And then we'll
Cold
work our way
shoulder
up.
treatment, Dawn. Yes, that
Yeah,
is
yes.
exactly right. Um, Pillar of light. We're glad to see you again.
Hi,
Yes, I
Pillar of
escaped
Light.
my controller, my father, only to subconsciously find another. Both my parents were narcissists. Low warmth, high criticism environment. Love was conditional. Yeah. Yes. So
Okay.
let's see.
Oh, oh.
Oops. Whoop, hers went down. There we go. Lamoose. I was 38, but very vulnerable, just getting out of a relationship when he reeled me in. Being able to recognize predator preying in those moments, it did take me to realize I was choosing abusive men like my father. My father was verbally and emotionally abusive. There was a sense of familiarity in these men. That is exactly that's the thing. Trying to overcome that. Laura points out a good thing about being the black sheep of the family, ostracized by
Oh, yeah.
family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely primes you for abuse.
Oh, absolutely. Because you don't have like that self worth. You don't have a self
Mhm.
value. You're used to being discarded. You're used to being made fun of. You're used to being talked to behind your back. You're used to you're used to internalizing. See, you're used to internalizing.
Internalizing all that.
And I
Yes.
didn't do that on purpose, but that's our topic. You get used to internalizing because you're not allowed to speak your opinion because it gets shunned or you're too dramatic. You're too
Right.
you're chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here you go again with that stuff in your head, that goofy stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it can take forever to get out. So, like, I'm just gonna prime everybody with an example for this, and I'm gonna tell my age. I know women don't like to do that, but I'm going to. I am 56, and so one of the things that really stuck with me was that I was not pretty. I was not beautiful. Um, that's the stuff I internalized for a very long time. And even marrying my new, husband, he's not so new now. We've been together, nearly 20 years. But um, as much love and compassion he would tell me how beautiful I am and stuff, I still sometimes go, "Oh no, you're full of it," right? But not like I used to. I just total disbelief. Could not believe it
Right.
that there was anything uh, that was singularly beautiful about my outward appearance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what changed that in a moment for me, I will never forget the experience because it happened just after we moved into this house. So that would be about 9 years ago. I was doing a domestic violence event where a painter asked if she could take some pictures of me, do a story on me, and do a painting of me. She was doing a whole collection for a domestic violence fundraiser at an art gallery, and she did this beautiful painting of me that had this purple ribbon kind of surrounding my face and a hummingbird off to the side, and it's all significant stuff to my story. And when Jim and I went to that fundraiser, I saw that and I just wept. And I said, I'm really beautiful. I really am truly beautiful. And of course, saying that to my sweet husband made him have to buy that painting at the auction because he wasn't going to let that go after it brought such emotion. But, I was in my 40s before I could accept that.
Hmm.
And I had to see it from an external source before it really clicked inside of me internally that I was seeing something through a different kind of looking glass. And it was life changing. So now we have that. It's a big painting. I mean, it's big. But Jim insisted we had it put in our bedroom, so that he said, I want you to wake up every morning reminding you that you're beautiful. So it's in our bedroom. But it's things like that. It takes a very long time. And like I said, I still struggle. I still
Yes.
struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I was the same as you, Era. I never thought I was pretty. I never thought I was attractive. And when I was told that, I would be like, yeah, okay, thank you. Thanks for being nice. Like you would think like they're being friendly, you know. And I would even have a hard time when men would look at me for a long time, and not in like in a weird way, but like in a like, oh, you look really pretty. I'd be like uncomfortable. Um, and even internalizing compliments that weren't even about being pretty.
Yeah.
You're smart. Someone told me I was strong, someone I highly respect, and I was like, what's so strong about? Like that was really hard until I got to this place in my life where I was able to see certain things and my accomplishments. I was like, what's so strong? I had to do this. I had to. I didn't have a choice. What's
Right.
right? Like I was really struggling. And then I had to see that I was strong and that I had to be strong to do what I did. And that's hard because you feel like that's not something like, when you think of strong, you think of people that like, and this isn't just it, but you think of people who put themselves in situations that make them strong, like heroes and stuff. But like when you are put in a bad situation, you have nothing but to be strong. It's hard to take that title sometimes. And maybe again, because we're told that we're weak, we're told that we're useless, we're told, even coming out, sometimes the world's not too nice about us, even when we do leave. So it takes us a long time to get that the credibility back where we're able to say, hey, we are strong.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's insane the
it
things
is.
that play over and over and just catch you. in those moments. So let's talk about some of the other ways we carry that abuse in our voice. How about, like, I have seen so many people, so many survivor sisters who, after they're starting their journey, say sorry for everything. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that where you're constantly, I think in the very beginning I started that as well, but it didn't last too long. But just every little thing saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But,
Yeah.
I did once with my current husband, like I was saying, because, like, dinners were a big thing. He made dinners a huge thing about what he would eat, what he wouldn't eat, and I was very worried in, entering into the next marriage about whether or not the food was cooked right, and sitting there, and even if he just said, well, it's good, but it's not my favorite, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And
Right.
he's like,
Right.
no, it's still delicious. you know
Right. Right.
it's not what I meant. And um so there's a lot of that goes on.
I do still find that with certain people in my life. I still do that with. I've gotten better with my husband. I know when I started working in this organization, you guys got me a lot better with that. Tara can even tell you that. I was like, it was like a part of my verbiage. So it does. So even Dawn, don't feel bad. That's something that comes with time and being able to have the right people around you to give you that confidence that you're not having to continue to say you're sorry. But I'm not gonna lie, there's certain people I still say sorry around a lot because of the weight they feel around me. I don't feel secure. So I feel like if I mess up, I still say sorry a lot. And that's a trauma response.
Absolutely. And definitely. And some of the other trauma responses can be like, I still do this one. I'm very guilty of it. Expecting the rejection before it happens.
Yes, yes, yes. Like you're playing it out in your head. You're like already, it's done
I'm
already in your
already
head.
expecting whatever it is they're going to say no. They're just going to,
The-
and yeah, and I
right.
plan for it in
Yeah.
anticipation of it.
Yes. Yes.
So, or I get very suspicious of people when they're kind. Like, okay,
Yes.
what do you
Time.
want from me?
Right. Right.
I am very bad about that one.
Yeah. I
I look people sideways for quite some time before I can trust them just because of the way that shoe dropped.
I agree. I agree. I have a hard time even with people. So I know this is weird, but like because of my abuser leaving at night to cheat on me and doing certain things at night and me waking up and not being able to find him, or certain things that I would feel odd, like when he would cheat on me, he would say he was going somewhere and then he would come home until 3 a.m. And so if I get woken up in the middle of the night by chaos, even if it's like not even that big, I get really triggered.
Mhm.
Or if I'm like, I get really triggered by being woken up by like what I should not be woken up by. I feel weird. Like I have to calm my brain down, going, everybody's safe. There's not like you don't have to look for things. I feel like I'm a detective sometimes, and I have to turn that part of my brain off. Like I'm looking for bad things, and I know there's nothing bad, but I'm looking for bad things. And I just saw. I don't know how to. Let me see, Tara. I just saw someone's comment come up, and I think this is really kind of something
Mhm.
the most if I say it wrong, I'm so sorry. I jump if someone taps me on the shoulder. My body starts shaking when someone gets mad or yells. I feel like I instantly have to run away from that person, which is a trigger. It's a body trauma mind response. I don't like when my husband taps on my shoulder to get my attention. Actually, like I told him several times, I don't like it makes me mad. Please don't do that. Like I don't want to swat anybody. Like it just I don't like the feeling of being tapped on the shoulder. So yeah, don't feel
Yeah,
crazy for
or things like my biggest trigger, which I am so glad my new relationship did not do that.
yeah.
He does not do that. Uh, Following me to another room
Ooh,
when I'm
no.
trying to leave and de-escalate because I
No.
know it's fixing to get bad.
Yes.
Oh, somebody following me from room to
That
room to
doesn't do it.
room to room.
Mm-mm.
No, I can't handle that.
No.
Um, that just, yeah, because you can't even escape it for a brief second. That was a big key factor in my relationship, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Even if
or
someone
that
laughs.
brings out over explaining.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
a
yeah.
besides apologizing, the over
Oh yeah.
explaining
To
things.
the point where you're like listening to yourself saying like, just stop. Just stop. Like you can hear yourself and you're like, just stop, but you can't stop because you feel like you and I mean again, I've seen it in other victims. I've seen it in myself where people will like to the point where you're like or they'll magnify the situations by 10. Like,
Mhm.
they'll like and my husband's okay with me talking about this, but, like, he if so the other day, like, with work, they didn't have enough work, so they laid some guys off that day, and he immediately thought he was fired. And that is just where his brain goes instantly because of his trauma. So a lot of people immediately not he's not able to rationalize and go, "Okay, well, they're overloaded, they don't have enough." Immediately fired, gone, work done, and that is such because of his trauma he never sees anything like midway or is able it's just immediately bad and that is so normal. It's I do it sometimes even if the school's calling like I'll be like and the school and they're so wonderful because they'll be like nothing's wrong because they must get that response a lot but I'm immediately like bad horrible and it's because we have lived in fight or flight mode for so many years
Mhm.
that we expect chaos. It's more expected than calm.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, a pillar of light. She said, let me show this. OMG, my abuser would follow me, raging, and I wasn't allowed to be in a room with the door closed unless it suited him, including the bathroom. I'm gonna tell you, I've had bathroom doors ripped down. Because I would I mean we and I you would run. You'd be running trying to close doors and they would not. So I get it, and you feel so powerless, and it's scary, and so that's why Tara says now, like even if you're with your husband and you feel safe and he's still following you, your brain's going trigger, like red light going off in your head
Mm-mm.
because we weren't allowed to walk away. Even if I went to bed, I would have water poured on me because he go, no, we're finishing this fight.
Oh,
You're not going to
no,
bed.
no, no, no,
He would
no,
rip
no.
covers. I mean, he would do.
It's a good thing your ex is in jail, Amanda. That's all I gotta say on that. I'm
Yeah,
just
he was
no,
whoo!
no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was to the point where I went to sleep for days because if he was in that rage, as Pillar of Light said, and the fight was going to end when he wanted it to end, there was no. And they do that too because it's like with the psychological torture, they get you so tired, like you're not sleeping, you're not eating, right? You're not taking care of yourself, so then you just kind of wither down to them. You become like almost like please just stop yelling at me. I'll do everything you want. And they want you there. They want you broken. That's the goal.
Right. That yeah, they absolutely do. And so it's like even out of it now, there's a certain amount of shame because when you do talk about those times, like us talking about it right now, Amanda,
Mhm,
um, I'm 20 something years out of it now.
mhm.
And yet people still don't want you to talk about that. They get you'll get a reaction a lot of times of like, aren't you over that yet?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Or you chose to stay. I don't want to hear it. You had chances to leave. I don't want to
Mhm.
hear it. We moved on. Life moved on. You know. And that's the thing. So then you're carrying all this stuff. You're internalizing it because you have no one to talk to. You
So
know. And
even if it was really bad and you had to get out, you're still having to internalize everything that went on
right.
by being silenced because
It's making people uncomfortable. But
right.
I've even said, and I even had to say this to my mom, I understand this is uncomfortable for you, but it was uncomfortable for me to live it.
Yes. Hmm.
And because of that, people don't understand. No, nobody wants to hear about their child being beaten. Nobody wants to hear about their loved one being beaten. But give them that moment of just even just crying or I'm so sorry, or even say, I'm so sorry what happened to you. Give them that.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry what happened. But completely saying, okay, now you're out. Let's focus on the future. He's gone.
Mhm.
It wasn't a bad breakup. Let's get that, like, let's
Well,
stop
and
treating it.
usually something has triggered that memory back into your brain. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be lovely if the people around us could engage us in manner of like, wow, that kind of came out of the blue? Is there something that spawned that memory? Something I
Right.
did?
Right.
Something not that I shouldn't do again? Wouldn't it be lovely? But it doesn't work that way,
No.
unfortunately. It
No.
doesn't.
You,
So
and you don't have to understand to have empathy for it. So even if you don't understand why that person stayed that long or understand the dynamics of the situation, you don't have to. Just give them the empathy and grace.
mhm,
You don't have to understand it altogether. Yeah.
absolutely, and I see so many of you have experienced the same things, definitely having to silence yourself. That is just, yeah, unfortunate. I wanna point out Gina's, comment here because it unfortunately, we've trained ourselves to adjust to the chaos, and it feels foreign to us when things are actually turning out for our good.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have to talk myself through things. I self sabotage. I will, and I caught that for years because I would rather self sabotage it than think that it's going to get ruined. And I, to this day, will go, Amanda, you're self sabotaging. You need to stop. I was not able to do that for a really long time, but that's because I rather me ruin it than feel the effect of someone else ruining it. And it's not a healthy thing, but it's what we learn. It's not easy to work out of either because it's something I continuously have to check myself on. So
Right.
yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Right.
That's
I wanna answer Kimberly's thing before we go to our mid
oh
break
yeah,
real quick,
definitely.
and then be right back. So Kimberly asked, does a victim ever truly heal and become healthy with no trigger response anymore? So my answer to that would be we get very close with a lot of hard work. I have seen survivors who will tell you that they're at like 90%, 95%, and they are essentially, they will tell you they feel that that's as healed as they're going to get. And they're very grateful for that. But it takes a lot. It takes just constant work, little by little, whether it's through psychologist or a therapist or just self work and self help, having the right people around you, even, um, is that are healthy. Uh, it does take time, but it's not something that I can say, and none of them would say. Our last podcast, the definitely go look her up. What was her name again? I'm trying to remember right now. I'm getting older.
Oh,
When I think of it, I'll let you know. But last week's podcast, she talked about that, and you can't ever guarantee that something isn't just going to trigger you into a particular place and a feeling. The difference is how you respond to it,
yes, yes, yes,
and
yeah,
that takes growth and time.
absolutely.
Yes. So, we're going to take a mid break real quick to play you a video about our survivor somatic healing retreat that's coming up here in October. So, since survivors do carry so much of their trauma in their bodies, tension, fear, startle response, heaviness in words that can't always be explained, that this October, we are hosting our virtual somatic healing retreat. This retreat is designed to help survivors reconnect with their bodies, release some of the weight of the trauma, and practice grounding techniques that you can take with you for a long time after the retreat is over. And you don't have to travel anywhere. You can do it from the safety of your own home. And still be a part of our community. And so spots are limited. So you'll need to, check that out, fill in quickly if you want to. Um, we're going to give you more details through this brief minute long presentation, and we'll be right back with our topic here in a minute.
Are you feeling completely drained, so tired of being on all the time, of constantly pushing through? That exhaustion is more than mental. Your body is holding on to stress as deep physical tension. It's time to give yourself permission to let go. Join our Rest and Restore virtual somatic healing retreat October 10th and 11th. Through guided breathwork, meditation, and EFT tapping, you'll learn to release what no longer serves you, all from the comfort of your home. As you heal, you'll also raise crucial funds for Break the Silence, supporting vital programs for domestic violence survivors. Find the details at the link in our bio. It's time to stop performing rest and start.
All right, we're back. And Amanda, we'll be popping that it's in the description, but it'll be in the comments as well.
Correct.
Yes, so check that out, definitely. So just so you know, it's 2 days, October 10th and 11th, right? And you can either join either day. It's a few hours. It's a little bit of time on Friday night and another little bit of time, I believe, Saturday morning, correct?
Correct. So it's on Friday from 7 p.m. Eastern time to 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then Saturday morning 9 a.m. Eastern time to 1 p.m. Eastern time.
So you can choose to attend one or the other or both.
Definitely.
The details are in the link. Definitely check that out. There's going to be all kinds of different things that you will learn to help you be able to deal with your trauma better. Part of that, what we're fixing to get into right now, the rewiring process, right? So we internalize all this stuff, and we definitely need to do something similar to like Reese Witherspoon was talking about. She had to rewire her brain. So, what does that really mean for us as survivors when we think of that? How to rewire what we're processing, what we think, so because we really have to realize that voice that's replaying over and over again, that isn't our voice.
Mm-mm.
So, like, Amanda, what does that like mean for you, like rewiring?
So it's catching when I'm like bullying myself. So I always like to say I have a tendency to bully myself and say certain words or do certain things that I know is not serving to myself. And when I start to do that, I have to step back and go, that's not you. That's not what we're saying to ourselves. You're okay. You're safe. There's no one going to get mad at you for this. And, I have to walk myself through those steps, kind of grounding techniques. Like when you're, this is, but it's more like in my head, like talking myself through it. And you couldn't even tell I was doing it, but I do it in so many situations because before I was able to do this, I would just take from the notion and the feeling and go. And that drowned myself every time. And when I was able to get into a healthy spot in my life, when I started healing from my abuse and I was no longer in that crisis mind frame, I was able to start, as I told you, like, even as I was talking about, certain things that I try to work on myself, even saying out loud, I have to say, don't say that. Or like, even like as we talk like the swear to care campaign that we're going to be having next month.
Yes, that's all right.
Rewiring our mouths and saying
Rewiring our mouths, yes.
Right. Like not saying, oh, you're so dumb. Or you're such a ditz, or you're so gullible, or why are you so stupid? Like, and I would mumble that to myself if I drop something, or, and even my husband would even be like, you're not stupid. Why do you call yourself stupid? And I'd be like, I don't know. I would catch myself like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know one of the things I read long ago is it takes at least 30 days to break a habit, that it takes 90 days to establish a new one. And I think sometimes we work real hard at breaking certain things in our cycles,
Right.
but we don't work as hard to establish new ones sometimes.
Right.
And for me, that has been a key factor, is trying to establish the new version. So it isn't just me stopping to saying, "Oh, yes, you are smart." It's, saying that I'm dumb. It's okay, let me back up. It's not just me saying, breaking that cycle of "you are dumb." It's me including the cycle of "I am smart."
Right. Right. It's re-talking yourself. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
And that process takes longer.
it's like affirmations. Like,
Mm,
that's why some people will get up in the morning, and even though it seems so silly to us, but saying, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm, confident, I'm a good person. If you are continuously saying that to yourself,
mhm.
there's something in your brain that's going to pick up on that habit, that verbiage. Just like we pick up on the verbiage of domestic violence, being told we're stupid, being told we're worthless.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, it takes a while, and each one of us have a different things that we connect with that can help in that journey. Um, I did some journaling that helped a lot. Um, so it doesn't have to be like saying something over and over again. It can be writing it every day, through journaling or affirmations. Sometimes, if you are spiritual or religious, it can be through prayer, right? um so healing isn't linear. It can be a combination of all those things. It can be something as simple as you're wearing red lipstick because you weren't allowed to wear red lipstick before and you liked it and it makes you feel beautiful.
Right. Right. I chopped my hair off when I left my abuser because he would never let me cut my hair. And now it's long now. It's because of me. But when I loved it. I was like, yeah, cut it as short as you want.
Absolutely. Oh, let's see. Lionel says his psychiatrist and psychologist told him he shouldn't date for the next 10 years. I don't know about that, but I would wait and date the person that, number one, you're healed enough to be with, and they are good for you. Those people come in the right time, usually in the right manner, as long as you're waiting.
And you'll
So yeah,
know.
and that's pretty much what Jim said here. Time will come when you'll date again. Just be strong and patient. Be very picky when you do. And remember, dating is your time to rate, evaluate, and eliminate that are unworthy of your love and time. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's sometimes hard because you're looking for somebody to, I you look for somebody a lot of times that you think will heal you, when really the power to heal you is in your own hands. So that's part of what I would recommend to everyone, because another person, they can be wonderful, they can help along the way, but the real power lies in you.
Yeah.
And really, that's what each one of us need after having the kind of experiences we've had, to have that that self-realization of I can do anything that I put my mind to, and it's okay. I look great this way. I feel great this way. No, I don't have to put up with these behaviors. And that is all a part of that, what I would call the rewiring. processed. So, Amanda, what's you think, and you guys can put this in the chat too. What was the hardest thing for you to have to unlearn about yourself?
That I wasn't as dumb as I was made to believe. I was actually more smarter than I gave myself credit for. I was a very codependent person from childhood. So that really does help with abuse when you're a codependent person, because then you don't have any values, you don't have any morals, and you look to everybody else for like guidance. And my abuser picked up on that really fast, and he used to call me gullible a lot, and I was gullible. And so one of the things that I had to really work on when I was understanding that I am trustworthy enough to depend on myself, I'm smart enough to depend on myself, and I don't have to look to everybody else for answers in life, and that my opinion matters as well. Um, it was insane to me that it was to my mid 30s to understand that, because I'm 38 now.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't start picking on that until I was like 35, 36, and really started picking up on it more in the past couple of years, because I was always looking to other people for like my self-value. Okay, who am I? What am I worthy of? Am I smart? Am I pretty? Am I good enough for you in this world? And that really wasn't their place to be, identifying me in that way. But I didn't know how not to. And that was really hard.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally get what Gina's saying here about it, that it wasn't their fault. Oh man, that was a hard one
Hold
for
on.
me to realize that, like, every little thing that happened wasn't my fault, including back to my childhood. My parents' divorce wasn't my fault.
Right?
So I didn't have to stick in a marriage that I should have been divorcing him for, because I was blaming myself for my parents' divorce. So that's not my fault either. The
Right.
and it trickles. It goes on down and on down in ways that we can't even imagine.
Right.
And so I have always been, for me, hyper fixated on that. I have to make certain things perfect, so I don't feel like it's something that's at my fault. But then I throw myself into that loop of, if some little thing goes wrong, oh my goodness, well, that look what you did now, Tara. Yeah,
Right.
because I
Right.
didn't plan for XYZ, and you should have pre-planned for that.
Right. Right. I feel like
Yeah.
you're like, how could yeah, it's hard. And actually, Lionel just brought up a great comment. He said that she never loved me. It was all a lie. You don't abuse someone like that when you love them, only when you hate them. That's the hard acceptance, to realize they didn't love you. And that Lionel, that's hard. That's so. I mean, it took me up to like a year ago.
And
I mean,
honestly, they don't even have to hate you. The
they don't.
narcissist is so self-consumed that
Hmm.
it's not about hating you sometimes.
It's
It's
hating them.
about that they're so consumed with their own self-love that they don't have room to love anybody else.
Well, and also what I found in my experience is once you expose them for who they are,
Mhm.
you're like you're damaged to them. Even though you're not damaged, you're damaged to them, because they only want people to see them in a certain light. And when you're with them and you see them in the light that they really are, they'll start making you feel like you're the problem, because you're no longer looking at them as that, like, oh, they're so wonderful. You're now looking at them some sort of way, and they
Mm.
don't like that, and that's your problem. And you
Mhm.
need to get over that. And it's not your problem, but that's their mindset. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it is very hard, especially if you have children, especially if you shared years, especially it's hard. It's hard to understand. I was with my abuser for a decade, 3 children,
Mhm.
and to think all that time I was living some fairy tale that was in my head. It wasn't real. It was not.
Yes, I love Don's words. The master manipulator.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, our partners definitely can be the master manipulators in those situations. Definitely.
Right.
So let's just reflect for a little bit on some of the steps we can take to help counteract some of this that we have going on. So, like maybe realizing, right, that at first, the first thing is realizing that that is not your voice in your head. Really judging, okay, do I really feel this way, or is this what I've internalized and heard all these years, right? And catching yourself in that mid thought, uh, of the abuser's words playing over and over again and stopping it. You have to consciously sometimes stop that, right? And celebrate the small wins. Go, no, I will not accept that. I am smart, and you know what? I can I can get this job, and I can go back to school, and I can do these things. And those are all wins that you can accomplish.
Right.
So um, start small and
Yeah.
just keep building that up, that momentum, um, so that you normalize it. Right? You normalize the talk of, wow, I am accomplished. Wow, I can do these things. You know, that is what we're looking for. It may never fully vanish, but it doesn't have to control you. It doesn't
No.
have to control your reactions or what you do or how you see yourself any further. It doesn't mean it's going to totally vanish, though.
No.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Amanda?
No, I agree, Tara. I mean, if it is taking you out to the point where you can't be in social situations, you are self sabotaging. That's not okay. But it's okay to work yourself through those moments, even in public, even and give yourself grace. Like as Tara said, it's going to start small. So don't be too hard on yourself. Know when you feel something, it's okay to honor that, but don't let it take you down. Don't let it take over your world or what you're doing. Um, when you become hypersensitive or super paranoid, then you know that's not what you're supposed to be doing. If you're missing out on opportunities, friends and family, just because thank you, Pearl. I appreciate you. I do have a cold, if you guys could tell. But yeah, don't let it take you down, guys. I always say there's going to be moments, and I do, where, and even Tara, I know Tara's talked about this candidly a lot, where sometimes you got to go to bed for the day.
Mhm.
But it's if you can get back up the next day and do what you're supposed to be doing is where you're going to find that balance. And it's okay. You're going to have bad days and it's okay to cry. And it's also okay to have accountability people, even if it's someone that you just really trust. Um, I know I can personally go to Tara and she'll tell me, the clarity of what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. And we need that. And that's why we have this community so that when we do have these moments, someone can say, oh yeah, you're being triggered or oh yeah, and then you don't feel so alone in it.
Absolutely. And sometimes when those old thoughts return, just, say your truth out loud. When it pops up in your head, you don't have to just sit there and go, oh, say it out loud. No, no, this is not the way it is. And definitely, like she was talking about, reaching out to a safe person. Everybody has someone who's your safe person. Um, if you don't, then we do have our support line
Yes.
where you can call, and survivors answer that and they will listen. It's not a hotline, it's there for support and resources. And they might be able to help you find some local resources of a community that you can find a safe space. And then, some grounding practices. I personally, for me, it's not the type of technique where I sit there and like, hum or close my eyes or anything. But for me, grounding looks like going into my garden,
Yeah.
you know, uh, taking care of some weeds and planting some flowers. It helps me reset myself. And so everybody, a grounding practice doesn't have to be something that you learn through some seminar.
No.
It's something personal to you. Another one for me is music.
Yes. Yes. I purposely sometimes get up earlier than my family because I need that time to wake up because I get overstimulated in the morning and I don't like to be grouchy to my family. So I will purposely get up, put my praise music on. I will drink my coffee. I will do things. And then when they come downstairs, I'm in a better headspace to say good morning because I have noticed if I get up the same time as them, I can't even look at them at some point. It's like, oh, like, ugh. So I have learned to do that. Even I laugh. I'll go to my basement and do laundry and let them all stay upstairs and play music on my phone and just sit there on my little like lawn chair I have downstairs while I'm doing laundry because it's quiet and it's alone and it might you guys are like a basement, but it's quiet. And so I mean, yeah, there's times
Yeah,
taking a
taking
bath,
a bath. Yeah, the
taking a bath. I
relaxing.
mean, even if you like cooking or you
Mm-hmm.
like watching, something on Netflix or playing a certain game on your phone, as long as it is controlled and that's like your self care, that's fine. I always tell people self care is what makes you feel good as long as you're not harming yourself and others. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing.
Absolutely. Another thing in my self care routine is routine. Getting tongue tied. That my whole family will tell you about, and it's very sacred between me and my grandchildren. When my grandchildren are here spending the night, and they're usually here once a week, sometimes 2 times a week, they from very little age, like one, I will wake them up every morning saying, "Good morning, I'm happy to see you." And they have to respond with, "I'm happy to see you too." We start our day that way. And then they get themselves together, they come out into the kitchen, and I'm playing Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. As I'm cooking their breakfast, because it sets a tone for me mentally as well. It's a self care type of thing that also I want them to get into a pattern of, when you wake up, you can be in a good mood. You don't have to start your day with, that heaviness, right? So, I mean, those are all techniques. You'll find your own in time for sure. Um, but it's little things like that when you consistently do them. I'm not a morning person. I am not. But the mornings they are here when I do that, I have to say I'm in a much better mood. It
For sure.
starts my day and their day in an atmosphere of where it's love and not, I have to get up kind of attitude. So a
Right.
lot of times it can be that small. So, anything else, Amanda, that you would like to say on this before we close out?
Everybody, you know what your body needs. Your body tells you, if you're feeling overwhelmed, it does. It signals you. Do what is best for you. Again, healing, there's no liner. Don't feel that because someone else, I always preach this, just because someone else is at a different part of their healing does not mean that you're doing your healing wrong or your healing is not progressing the way it needs to do. We are all different. We all have different needs. So just remember when you are internalizing these things and they are starting to, really overwhelm you, find what is best for you, not what people tell you is what's best for you, because you know what is best for you. And if it doesn't feel good for you, then it isn't good. And don't keep doing it. It
Right.
will make
It's
it
okay
worse.
to try something and then discover it didn't,
Well,
that
it didn't
wasn't
work for
quite
you.
right.
It didn't work for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, don't think
Try
there's
something
anything wrong
else.
with you. Try
Hmm.
something else. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, wrapping it up for y'all, that voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not enough, that repeats the insults and the criticism and the dismissal, that voice is not you. That is not who you are. And it may sound familiar and it may echo in that tone of the person who hurt you, but it is not your truth. All right. Every time you push back, even if it's just a whisper, no, that's not me. then you're rewiring.
Right.
Every time you speak kindness to yourself, every time you reclaim your ground, and every time you reach out to a safe person instead of sitting in silence, or um, maybe you're providing, if you stay stagnant in that way, you're providing your abuser's voice uh, the opportunity to have the final say. And guess what? They don't get to have the final say.
No, absolutely not.
No. And I want you to hear this. You're not broken because you still struggle. Healing isn't about erasing like the scars or silencing that voice completely.
Yeah,
It's about learning to live louder than that voice,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
To step forward even when it tries to pull you back. And some days, oh yeah, some days the lies may feel heavier than others. That doesn't mean you're failing. It just
Mm-mm.
means you're still healing, you're still fighting, and you're not alone in this. Every one of us who have walked through this knows this battle of
Absolutely.
carrying those words inside. And every one of us is proof that while the voice remains, it loses power, especially when we stand together and talk about these kinds of things. So, tonight, if you're listening, and you've been believing the lies, I want you to replace them with just one truth that you are worthy, that you're loved, and that you and your story matters. So, this can be a lifelong work, but it's not hopeless. We want you to find hope and know you're not walking alone. DTS ADV is here for survivors, and we're going to keep telling you and reminding you of that truth until you believe it yourself. Because if you're not what they said you are, then you are something more, right? The thing that you have always been inside. And you are strong enough. And you'll always be that person. So thank you for watching. Before we go, we have a few important announcements, real quick. Of course, always check out our website, btsadv.org. You can donate or volunteer there. Follow us across all our social media platforms. Um, we noticed here the lives on Facebook, if you're watching us through Facebook, after 30 days, they take them down. So if you want to see any replays of our previous podcast, please go to our YouTube channel. It's BTSADV over at YouTube. And you can see all our podcasts over there. And definitely check out our TikTok. TikTok has a special series going on only over in TikTok. You can find us there at BTSADV7 for what we call the Narc Diaries, in which I read out loud what people have submitted, what their narcissists have said to them, and some of them are pretty crazy. I can't even go there today. But you'll see some of the podcast clips over there as well. We're hoping to grow that channel so we can actually do lives over there where it's a discussion panel where we can bring you in and let you actually have the say and not just type in. So please go over there and follow us. And I have one more big ask. BTS ADV is recruiting volunteers right now for our social media engagement team. So we need people to help moderate the comments and answer our DMs on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. If you ever wanted to stand along survivors and help keep our spaces safe, this is your chance. So apply today through our website or the link. I'm sure it's going to be put it here in the description in the comments. And we truly need you. We need somebody to come in and be able to be sensitive to fellow survivors out there and help them find somebody who has something in common with them, a common voice, who has empathy for what they're going through. So your presence could make a difference between a survivor feeling isolated and them feeling seen. So please, if you would love to volunteer with us, we would love to have you. And Amanda and I definitely will see you on the next Through the Eyes of Survivors Uncensored. And we thank you for watching. We hope you're enjoying this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We wanted to pause for a moment and let you know that Through the Eyes of Survivors has a shop now open. And this is a great way for you to not only help survivors of domestic violence, but also let everyone know that you will not be silent about this important cause. From t-shirts to bags to coffee mugs, we have so much to choose from. To grab your swag, head to our store at breakthesilencedv.org. That's store.breakthesilencedv.org. We can't say enough about how much we appreciate all that the community does to help support us and this organization. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode and continue to subscribe to future episodes. Thank you.